Karin Brothers.
Hello. My name is Karin Brothers. I have been involved in Mideast education as a member of the United Church for many years, which has a history of focus on the Israeli-Palestinian situation. We're not talking today about hate speech, we're talking about free speech, everybody's freedom. Who among you has ever attended an Al-Quds Day rally? I've attended many, and I've even spoken at several of the events, along with United Church ministers and many Jewish activists who have a strong and supportive presence at these rallies. Al-Quds are inspiring and educational. There's no anti-Semitism. I have never heard anything anti-Semitic at any of these events. This motion is looking in the wrong direction for hate speech. The explicit association of the title, Hate-Sponsored Rallies, with Al-Quds Day, reflects an Islamophobic racism that is unacceptable. We all saw this past week where this kind of anti-Muslim racism leads. It leads to mass murders, it leads to racist surveillance of Muslims, rather than to the real source of hatred. It leads to the kind of racism that's behind this motion, as well as of those who are promoting it and speaking for it. I waited 12 hours, November 2017.
I can't really accept you categorizing a motion made by any member of City Council as being racist. I'm sorry. You're entitled to come here and say your piece, but I just can't really have people coming in here and saying that members of City Council.
I'd like to keep going if I may.
Okay, you keep going.
I waited 12 hours, November 2017, to speak against this motion. All but one of about a half dozen of us spoke against it. The only speaker supporting this hate-filled motion was from the JDL, which, as you know, has been recognized as a terror organization. Shamefully, it was that racism that carried the vote. We had all been waiting for our turn to speak for nothing. Who among you knows what's happening to the Palestinians? Al-Quds events try to fill people in. The World Council of Churches and the United Church have had similar initiatives because our media censorship has created a recognized need. Can I give you an example? Last Friday, Israel bombed 100 sites in Gaza. Did any of you hear CBC mention this or see a word of it in your newspapers? I didn't see one word. Israel initially claimed it was self-defense, but then noted that there must have been a mistake. Any deaths were unfortunate. Isn't it time to stop using Islamophobic racism as an excuse to eliminate our civil liberties? I'm upset seeing elected officials casually sacrificing Canadian civil liberties, in particular freedom of speech, to benefit the interests of a foreign country, to benefit Israel's agenda. Canadian freedom of speech must not be jettisoned for any foreign interests. This motion is looking in the wrong direction for hate speech. This hate-sponsored racist motion must be rejected.
All right. Any questions of this deputant?
I find your comments disgraceful and untruthful. I'm wondering whether you would agree.
What in particular do you find disgraceful?
I think the fact that you called our efforts to tighten up our anti-discrimination policy racist is disgraceful, and I'm embarrassed for you, actually, for you to come here and say that.
Well, I don't know what other conclusion I can come to when a lot of us Christians, Jewish, well-meaning people came to speak against the motion last time, and the only speaker for it was the JDL speaker, and he won the day. There were only two people who were against this hate-filled motion. I think the hatred in our society.
I think we've heard enough. You can go now. Your time's up. I think your comments are disgraceful. To say this
Right.
is
You're supposed to
hate-filled
be
is
asking
disgraceful.
questions. But you have no further questions, Councillor Pasternak? I will say, ma'am, anybody coming here and sort of just calling people racist is not contributing to a resolution of problems that we have to deal with here. But I thank you very much for coming.
Well, I'm very disappointed at the language myself.
All right.